Hi everyone, I wanted to take a few moments to review a writing activity that you have in Unit 2, Reading, Speaking, Listening, and Writing, titled Writing a Paragraph. What I would like to do is I would like to go over the lesson, which you can see right here, as well as the prompt right down at the bottom. And then I also wanted to take some time to review steps 2 and 3, which provide you with writing strategies to help you write your paragraph. So first things first, our objective is to compose a compare-contrast paragraph. The instructions are listed for you in steps. Step 1 asks you to pick a topic. You are allowed to pick your own topic, but you may also pick from the topic suggestion below. If you would like to pick your own topic and you're not sure if it's appropriate for the paragraph, come see me in the virtual office. Step 2 is to organize your thoughts. So once you have picked your topic in step 1, you want to organize your information before you begin writing. And one great way to do that is to use a Venn diagram. Now this is a picture of a Venn diagram, so you cannot click on it and download it, but you can head to my landing page or to the internet to find a sample Venn diagram that you can complete on your own. I'll pull one up for you in this recording as well. After writing your notes, the next step that you can take is to make a brief outline. Now we're only writing a paragraph, but after you write your notes, it's very helpful to organize them before you put them into paragraph form. Again, here is a picture of a way that you can organize your paragraph writing. I'm going to show you an example on a Word document as well. Finally, after completing steps 2 and 3, you can use that information to write your paragraph. And ideally, I'd like to see your paragraph be between 6 to 8 sentences. You want to make sure you have a topic sentence, supporting details, connecting words and transitions, and a closing sentence. And lucky for you, I'm going to show you a sample compare-contrast paragraph after we take a look at step 5, which reminds you that this assignment is graded. It's worth 25 points. And on the scoring guide below, you can see some of the points that I will use to grade your activity. And then finally, after going through steps 1 through 5, you can submit your paragraph either to the text box or you can upload it, whichever you prefer. It is always best to have a copy of your written work on your computer so you have a backup copy, but you may also use a submission box if you prefer. Now the essay prompt here just reviews the prompt which is in the beginning of the lesson, but it also encourages you to go back to the lesson if you have further questions. And as always, you can come see me in the virtual office if you would like to review your paragraph before submitting. So as I said, I wanted to take a look at steps 2 and steps 3 to review writing strategies for writing a compare-contrast paragraph. So for the sample that we're going to use, let's take a look at a compare-contrast Venn diagram. So to go over this, the topic that I chose was comparing and contrasting traditional learning versus online learning. So you are learning in an online environment, but many of you have a traditional face-to-face learning experience. So after you pick your topic, be it this topic or something that you choose on your own, you want to get your thoughts down. A compare-contrast Venn diagram is great to organize your thoughts because you can put what you know about online learning, for example, in one circle, and then what you know about traditional learning in another circle. Right in the middle is where we have our similarities about both learning experiences. Now, I would like to remind you that this is a sample that I'm using. You do not have to use online and traditional schooling as your compare-contrast topic. You have other options here, and you can also pick a topic of your own. I'm using online and traditional schooling as an example for you all. So let's come back to our Venn diagram. What you can see here is that I took some notes. I wrote down what I knew about online learning. What I know about online learning is that the schoolwork is completed and submitted online. Instruction takes place in a web-based conferencing center like Adobe or Blackboard, and students typically work at their own pace. How does that differ though from traditional learning? Well, I'm going to go over to this circle right here and write down what I know about traditional learning. Because I started with online learning, I'm going to look at those 3 details. Using those three details, I'm going to talk about the differences in traditional learning. Well, if schoolwork is completed and submitted online in an online setting, we know that in a traditional setting, schoolwork is typically completed and submitted face-to-face. My second detail here talks about instruction taking place in a web-based conferencing center, again, an online platform. If I talk about traditional learning, I know that instruction is live or face-to-face. If I go back to my third detail about online learning, students work at their own pace. I know that in a traditional learning setting, students typically are all on the same place, all working on the same assignments, the same projects, be it live or at homework after school. So we can see here that we have three clear differences between online learning and traditional learning. That's the contrast portion of our thinking. If we go to the middle, though, we want to think about things that online or traditional learning have in common. One thing that we know is that both provide instructions. We also know that students must maintain due dates. Despite the fact that students may work at their own pace in an online setting and all are on the same pace in a traditional learning setting, we know that in both settings, students must maintain due dates. We also know that in both an online and traditional learning environment, students are penalized for missing work. Even though you're working at a different pace, online, or even working together traditionally, you have to complete all of your work. Finally, in both learning experiences, teachers are real people. Though you do not see them face to face, those people behind the screen giving you feedback, responding to your messages, are in fact the real teachers that you're used to seeing face to face every day. So after getting down your notes in your compare-contrast Venn diagram, you might want to think about organizing your information. Here's an outline. This outline is similar to the outline picture that you see in the lesson. What we do here as we're outlining is we take those notes from the Venn diagram and start making complete thoughts or sentences. We use those details from the circles to put into our detailed section. So we know that for our sample, our topic is online learning versus traditional learning. We have to think of a topic sentence that introduces our reader to the idea that we're going to be presenting in our paragraph. So a draft of a topic sentence may read, online and traditional schooling are two types of learning environments, and though they have their differences, they also have their similarities. Because remember, when we're talking about comparing and contrasting, we are talking about similarities and differences. The details that are outlined for you here are directly from our Venn diagram. If you take a look at these details, you can see that what I did was I took those notes and I put them in complete sentences. My first two details talk about how both learning environments are different. However, my third detail talks about similarities. Finally, I have a closing sentence. Your closing sentence simply rephrases your topic sentence to remind your reader what your topic was and the conclusions that you came to. After you are able to outline your thoughts from the notes that you collected, writing your paragraph should be pretty painless, because what you're now doing is just putting all that information into paragraph form. Here you can see a sample compare-contrast paragraph. I took all of the ideas from my outline, I put them on a piece of paper, on a Word document right here, and I formatted it as a paragraph. Before we take a look at the sample paragraph, please remember that as you are submitting, you need to make sure you have a header as well as a title, even for short writing assignments. Please be sure to include your name, my name, the name of the course, as well as the date that you're submitting the project. This is important because as you get to longer writing assignments, especially your research paper, format is a major grading component. So it's best to start practicing now with your short writing exercises. Notice too how the format between the paragraph and the header are all the same. No need to bold, italicize, or underline. So as we take a look at our 6 to 8 sentence paragraph, we have key components. That includes a topic sentence, which comes at the very beginning of your paragraph, followed by supporting detail 1, supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, supporting detail 4, and this one even actually has a 4th supporting detail. So remember, if you're outlining and you need more detail space, you can include that in your outline. And then finally, we have a closing sentence. I tried to highlight these in somewhat similar shades, even though a few are darker than the others, just to show you that the bulk of your paragraph are those supporting details. Remember, your job as a writer is to back up your topic sentence, which is right here at the beginning, with strong supporting details. And then finding that closing sentence, which reminds the reader what you were writing about and the conclusions that you came to. The last thing I want to point out to you, and I'll do that by highlighting, are transitional words and phrases. Notice that in this paragraph, transitional words and phrases like one way, another way, on the other hand, in addition to, and to conclude are examples of transitional words and phrases to help cue the reader of your paragraph that you are moving on to another idea or adding more information. This is another great strategy to include in your short writing assignments as you're able to engage your reader but also move your paragraph along. When you come to the end of the lesson, what you'll be submitting is that final paragraph. Your notes are very important, and you may submit them as well if you would like, but you definitely want to make sure that you have your paragraph. As always, if you have any questions about this writing assignment, be sure to come see me. You can workshop with me in the virtual office or ask me any questions that you may have about your paragraph. Be sure to review this lesson in its entirety, use the resources as well as those modeled for you in this resource video, and come see me with your questions.